Well, all right. Goal accomplished for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They get to play the Boston Celtics after beating the Orlando Magic in Game 7 in Cleveland, 106-94, after being down by as much as 18 in the middle of the second quarter, and then the Cavs kind of made a little bit of a run to bring it within 9, I believe, at halftime. And we should just start at the beginning because the Magic really came out firing. It looked like they were going to get that outlier three-point shooting type of game. You know, after shooting like 31% in this series, the threes started falling for the Magic. Wendell Carter Jr. hit 2 threes in the first half. Paolo Banchero hit a couple of threes in the first half as well. And they kind of just jumped on the Cavs early. The physicality was bothering the Cavs. Darius Garland just looked out of sorts through the first 3 quarters of this game. He really looked bad on both ends of the court. They were hunting him relentlessly on mismatches with Banchero or Franz Wagner, who was also very terrible today, just shooting-wise. You know, he got involved a little bit on the glass. He did have some good defensive possessions on switches against Mitchell and was, you know, facilitating a little bit, but as far as giving Banchero some help, Franz Wagner going 1 of 15 from the field and 0 of 5 in this game when you need both of your wing stars in that duo to perform. He really just did not have a good game. Offensively, Jalen Suggs also struggled, shooting 2 of 13 from the field, and Banchero was just on fire to start this game. He was This was probably the best Banchero game I've seen from him, just in terms of him leveraging his size more consistently and getting to the cup and drawing fouls. He had 18 free throws in this game, and the Cavs could not stop him. Darius Garland got in foul trouble, which, you know, was part of his entire bad first half, was just him missing shots, turning it over, and getting in foul trouble. Evan Mobley at times just could not handle the size of Banchero. Neither could Isaac Okoro in that first half, and Banchero he was really good in this game. And even Gary Harris hit 2 threes, but you kind of figured with the way the Cavs were chipping away too, especially as they started, you know, crashing the offensive glass a little bit. There was even a point where people were freaking out because JB Bickerstaff threw out a Tristan Thompson, Sam Merrill, Karis LeVert, Okoro, and I forgot who that 5th person was to open up the second quarter. And the Magic started extending their run, but I thought they still made some plays towards the end of the first half. Donovan Mitchell got going a little bit. And once the Cavs chipped it away, they got it down to 9 at one point. And once the Cavs were in striking range, it was like, all right, this second half is really going to be a game. And then the Magic's offense just fell apart. And we got to give credit to the Cavs because last year they were rightfully bashed for just being too small against the Knicks, getting bullied around by the Knicks. And there were points in this series where I was like, really, guys, you aren't going to fucking show up like games 3 and 4 where they just absolutely got the doors blown off of them. And then even in game 6 where it was like, okay, some dumb decisions from JB Bickerstaff, playing George Niang too much, not playing Karis LeVert enough, and Donovan Mitchell being the only guy in that fourth quarter to score all those points. In game 7, I thought the Cavs did a better job of, one, locking in defensively. They were also fine with letting Carter shoot more threes. He did not make another 3 in the second half. Banchero only made 1 3 in the second half. And they realized that, hey, you know, some of the guys that we are willing to live with shooting the ball are just making some threes right now. Maybe if we keep playing not the same defense, but obviously load up more on Banchero and make the other guys like Franz Wagner, who was struggling. Jalen Suggs struggled 2 of 10 from 3. Make Jonathan Isaac take corner threes. He only took like that 1 corner 3, but that was like part of a Cavs run that the Magic were trying to stop. And then Donovan Mitchell just got going again in that third quarter, and I really thought they did a good job of, one, just being more smart and decisive, especially coming off of screens or running their actions, because I also thought in the first half, the Cavs they really had some dumb decisions, like, you know, driving into the paint with 3 guys around them, off pass here or there, and it just felt like in the second half, the Cavaliers just buckled down and had better decision making. Max Strus got going off of some action. Franz Wagner lost him a few times on some moving threes. I think Max Strus had 8 points in that third quarter. Mitchell was fantastic in that third quarter. Evan Mobley was just awesome on the glass and awesome defensively in this game, though he did have a lot of turnovers, and that was also part of the problem that fueled that Magic first half. Was also the Magic were just getting out in transition too. But Mobley, for the most part, he was awesome on the glass and was really good defensively. And then Darius Garland, man. I know Cleveland fans are getting sick of Darius Garland. The public opinion on him locally, I feel like, is starting to turn, at least from what I gather following Cavs Twitter and having a few friends who cover the Cavs up in Cleveland. But you got to give Darius Garland credit in that fourth quarter. He showed up, had some big shots. I like the corner three that he had where Mitchell passed it to Garland again after Garland previously had missed a three from that same spot. They got the offensive rebound. Donovan Mitchell got the ball on the top of the key, penetrated, and then kicked it to Garland again for a corner three. And you could tell Garland just needed that because he has struggled in this series and really just has had a down year in general. Even in that game 6, he was great through the first 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, I don't know what happened. But good on Donovan Mitchell to keep his teammates involved. He knows he's going to need Darius Garland against the Boston Celtics. And by the way, good on JB Bickerstaff for in that fourth quarter where they really started expanding the lead. That 3-guard lineup that I mentioned in my series preview, the LeVert, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell lineup, that I felt really not turned the tide of the game because the Cavs were already up ahead, but they kind of blew the game open with just having multiple ball handlers on the court and guys who could also shoot, and that just giving more room for Mitchell to drive, draw fouls. Mitchell took fucking 17 free throws tonight. The Magic just had no answer for this guy. For as much as Jalen Suggs was fantastic trying to guard him, Gary Harris at times, the Magic flip-flopped those matchups at the midway point through this series. They started putting Suggs on Donovan Mitchell more and Gary Harris on Darius Garland. But Donovan Mitchell was just getting to the paint at will, drawing fouls, finishing the defensive possession with, rebounds. He had 9 total rebounds in this game. It's just a good all-around effort from the Cavs, and so we have to give him credit because this was a gutsy win. They were down 18. You could hear some boos in the arena. At least I barely heard some boos on the TV. My friend Evan, who was at the game, Evan Damerel of Right Down Euclid, he said that there were boos at the game. It was very tense in that first half, and credit to the Cavs. They toughed it out. And so when we bash a team all year for being soft, and everybody kind of, including myself, thought this Cavs team with the way they were playing were just going to be an easy first-round exit, and I picked the Magic in 6, we were wrong. And the Cavaliers, they gutted out a tough win. Though, I'm not going to lie, I'm sure a lot of Cleveland fans felt different about midway through that second quarter. But hey, the Cavs dug their way out of it. Isaac Okoro, by the way, also had a big third quarter. I just want to shout him out because Banchero did not have the second half that he would have liked and was definitely not the type of half he needed compared to the first half. And Isaac Okoro did a great job just guarding everything, off ball, wrecking shit, and then guarding Banchero. He was very crucial to the Cavaliers' turnaround. Cleveland had 50 paint points in this game. The Magic could not stop the Cavaliers from getting into the paint. Donovan Mitchell, Karis LeVert, and they also held the Magic down to 15 points in that third quarter. And at the same time, they allowed those same shooters that were hot in the first half to keep shooting, and they did not deliver. And then the Cavaliers just, were able to keep afloat in the fourth quarter with that 3-guard lineup. The Magic just could not guard it. Outscored the Magic by 4, and that was all she wrote. Just a gutsy win from the Cavaliers. And they have a tough matchup against the Boston Celtics, and it sucks that they won't have Jared Allen because he's dealing with that rib fracture. And I don't know when he's going to come back, but It was also a good thing Darius Garland got going in that fourth quarter. Maybe he can take some of that rhythm into the Boston series, because if that Darius Garland shows up against the Celtics, it's not Donovan Mitchell's going to need help from somewhere, because the Celtics are going to key in on him, and they are going to make guys like Darius Garland. They were giving Darius Garland, especially early in the series, they were giving him shots and were loading up on Donovan Mitchell. Garland's going to have to make him pay in this series. Evan Mobley's going to have a big series too. And I'm not asking for 30 points or 25 points or even 20 points a game from Evan Mobley. I'm just asking him to be more effective on the offensive end, just beyond being a roller and catching near the rim, which is great. But with the firepower you need to play the Celtics, and, I know the Cavs are a great defense, but I feel like in this particular matchup, the Celtics have ways to exploit the Cavs defense in a way that I don't think the Magic's defense is that exploitable, if that makes sense. I just think it's a styles make fights thing. The Cavs are a great defense, but they are going to need more than defense and more than Donovan Mitchell to beat this team in particular, if they want to pull out the upset, which I don't think they will. I think the Celtics actually are going to win in 5, and I know that's counterintuitive because I just gave the Cavs praise for bucking the trend and having a gutsy Game 7 win, but the Celtics are just on a different level. The Cavs definitely have some firepower, but I think the Celtics are going to win. As for the Magic, fantastic year for the Magic. A fantastic leap season for the Magic, because last year they were really good, and, post-January last year, they were like 3 games above 500. Or already have the foundation for a good defense, and they carried that into this year. What the Magic need to figure out in the summer, they need to get some shooting, but they need that lead guard ball handler to be the second guy to be an advantage creator that just isn't Paolo Banchero. Because Banchero, it just felt like in the series, Banchero was the only one that was consistently creating advantages. I felt like Franz Wagner did some of that too, especially in the games at home, but you could definitely see, I don't know what happened to his shooting this year, but I really thought, I'm shocked at just how bad of a shooter he was this year and in these playoffs. It was really crazy. I still like Franz Wagner. I still think he's going to be a star. It's probably just a down year shooting, because he was a 36 and a 35% three-point shooter in his second and his rookie year, respectively. But shooting 29% this year, and I don't know what is going on with that shot. It looks completely different. Not completely different, but it looks like a rushed version of the previous 2 years of Franz's shooting form. And the Magic are going to have to rectify that, because I don't think you can fix the Magic's shooting problems by just signing free agents. Franz is going to be in the starting lineup for a long time and playing a big chunk of minutes, and your star player, your star wing player, needs to be able to stretch the floor, especially if you're going to play Franz at small forward, Paolo at power forward, and somebody like Wendell Carter Jr. at center. You obviously need to upgrade the Gary Harris position a little bit just in terms of shooting, because Suggs has already turned himself into a pretty awesome shooter, even though he did not show it today. But get some shooting at that spot, a lead guard at that spot. I saw somebody throw out the idea of Anthony Simons before. I've seen actually Anthony Simons thrown out a lot this year because he was in trade rumors, leading up to the trade deadline. But somebody like that will space the floor but also create offense at the same time, something like that. And then Franz Wagner just needs to be in the lab this summer and become the shooter we all know he could be. Because I really thought this year Franz was going to take the leap to be a 37% three-point shooter, and there were just some times this year where his form looked a little yippy. So, still, a great season for the Magic. They have their foundation set, they have cap space, they have picks, and this team plays its ass off on defense. So they have a bright future. Cavaliers, good job, good gutsy win.